Welcome to Mother Cluckers. My name is Debbie. What is better for a chicken, freedom or confinement? In a backyard flock, a chicken lives a life that's much closer to what nature intended. She gets to feel the sun on her feathers, scratch in the dirt, and dust bathe to clean herself and stay healthy. She can stretch her wings, walk around freely, and interact with other chickens in her own space. Each bird has her own personality and can express her natural behaviors like foraging for bugs, chasing leaves, or simply resting in the shade. Now imagine that same chicken in a commercial facility inside a wire cage with 5 or 6 others crammed in with her. She can't spread her wings fully, she can't walk around, there's no dirt to scratch in, no bugs to chase, and no real way to interact naturally with other birds. The floor is metal, there's no soft ground, no grass, and no sky. In a backyard setting, chickens often get names. They're part of the family. People watch over them, check on their health, and even give them treats like watermelon or oats. If a hen is acting off or seems sick, she's likely to get care and attention right away. She might even get to retire and live out her days in peace after she stops laying. But in a production facility, a hen is seen mainly as a layer. She's there to produce eggs. When her production drops, she's usually removed and replaced. Individual attention doesn't exist when there are thousands of hens in cages. Let's talk about space. A backyard chicken might have a whole coop and run to explore, and some are let out to roam in the yard under supervision. In contrast, caged hens are often given less space than the size of a sheet of paper. They live their entire lives in that tight space, unable to move freely. And then there's mental stimulation. Chickens are curious, intelligent animals. In a backyard, they peck, explore, and form social bonds. They recognize their keepers. They know where they sleep, where they lay, and who's top of the pecking order. In a cage, there's none of that. The lights are often artificial and set on timers. There's nothing to explore, just feed and water in front of them, day in and day out. Even the soundscape is different. In a backyard, chickens hear wind, birds, maybe kids laughing nearby. In a cage facility, it's the constant hum of machinery, loud clucking from stressed birds, and the absence of anything natural. Backyard hens often get to lay eggs in private nest boxes. They choose a quiet spot, settle in, and lay on their own time. In contrast, cage hens lay on sloped wire floors, where eggs roll away almost immediately. There's no privacy, no comfort, just a system built for efficiency. And when it comes to health, while backyard chickens can face issues too, they usually have cleaner air and fewer stress-related illnesses. In cages, ammonia from waste builds up fast. Respiratory problems are common. The stress of confinement can lead to feather pecking or even cannibalism, which is why beak trimming is often done in commercial settings, something backyard keepers don't need to do. Let's not forget sunlight. Backyard chickens get real daylight, which helps regulate their laying cycles and overall well-being. In contrast, cage hens live under artificial lights that are used to control egg production, not for the health of the bird, but for the output. Space for a chicken is everything. In a backyard flock, the average chicken run gives each bird 8 to 10 square feet, sometimes even more. That's enough room to walk, flap her wings, scratch in the dirt, and dust bathe in peace. Inside the coop, each chicken is usually given about 3 to 5 square feet, depending on the setup. At night, they roost together, but they still have space to move, stretch, and rest comfortably. Now compare that to a confined cage in a commercial egg facility, where each chicken gets less than 1 square foot of space. That's about the size of a sheet of paper. She can't spread her wings, she can't walk, she can barely turn around, and she shares that tiny cage with 4 or 5 other birds crammed together 24 hours a day. The difference is staggering. In a backyard setup, a chicken has a space to be a chicken. In a cage, she just exists, restricted, stressed, and unable to live naturally. That's why space matters, and it's one of the clearest ways to see the difference between care and confinement. Now, some people ask, if I have a coop with a fenced-in run, is that still confinement? And the answer is not in the same way. A secure coop and run keeps chickens safe from predators while still giving them room to roam, scratch, dust bathe, and explore. They get fresh air, sunlight, and freedom of movement. They're protected but not trapped. They can go inside when they want or come out and interact with their flock. That's responsible freedom, and it's a world apart from the metal cages of factory farms. True confinement is when a bird has no choice, no stimulation, no comfort, and no space. A coop with an attached run? That's not confinement. That's care, that's freedom with protection. And that's the kind of life every chicken deserves. So why are chickens kept in cages in the first place? It all comes down to mass production and profit. The egg industry designed caging systems to maximize space, control, and output. By keeping hens in small cages, producers can fit thousands of birds into one building. It's cheaper, easier to collect eggs, and simpler to manage feeding, lighting, and waste removal on a massive scale. In cages, every movement is controlled. The hens can't run off, they can't hide eggs, and they all lay in the same place, making egg collection automatic. That kind of setup saves labor and boosts efficiency, but it comes at a huge cost to the animal. Because in the process of making things more efficient, the chicken loses almost everything natural. Her ability to move, to socialize properly, to nest, to explore, and to live freely. So while cages might be convenient for the system, they're not designed for the chicken. They're designed for the numbers, and that's why more and more people are choosing to keep backyard flocks, because when you see a chicken as more than just a number, you treat her life differently. So which is better for a chicken, freedom or confinement? Freedom always. But freedom doesn't have to mean wide open pastures with no fences. For a chicken, freedom means being able to walk, scratch, dust bathe, feel the sun, and choose where to go within her space. It means living how a chicken is meant to live. If you have a coop with a fenced-in run, some might wonder, is that still confinement? But the answer is no. That's safe freedom. So why should you have a backyard flock? Because it's one of the simplest, most rewarding ways to bring life, purpose, and compassion into your own backyard. You're not just getting fresh eggs, you're giving a chicken a chance to live the way she was meant to. You get to see their personalities. You'll learn that every hen is different. Some are shy, some are bold, some follow you around like a dog. You watch them dust bathe, sunbathe, talk to each other, and even come running when they hear your voice. You'll see real natural behavior, things they could never do in a cage. A backyard flock isn't just about food, it's about connection to your food, to the animals in your care, and to something simpler, slower, and more meaningful. That's why you should have a backyard flock, because it's good for them and it's good for you too. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.